Hello everybody, we're going to try this one more time, and if it is not working, then I am going to give up for this week and just go to next week. I'm having some connection issues. For some reason my Wi-Fi wasn't connecting and then the sound wasn't connecting, so it looks like we're back now, so bear with me. Okay. So I hope everybody can hear me. Please comment if you see this and if you can hear me. I would love to know that. Let's see. Let me get back to here. Okay, I see one person's watching. If you can hear me, please comment and let me know that you can hear me. All right, so I think we're good. I'm going to start over. So here's what's going on this week, and it might end up being a short video if I can't get the sound to work, but I think it should be okay now. So this week we posted a Halloween decor roundup. If you go to the site, there is a post of 20 Halloween patterns that you can make to decorate your house. So it's got everything from like pillows and treat bags and like I've got my little ghosts on there, all sorts of fun patterns, some of mine, some of others, and mostly crochet, but some knit as well. And so that's fun if you want to start getting in the mood for Halloween, because it is closer than you think, you guys. We're coming on it pretty soon. And that's the only new post so far this week. I am working on a tutorial for how to crochet baubles. I'm halfway through video editing on that. I should have it up today or tomorrow at the latest. And then I have another project that I posted just on Instagram, Instagram and Tangi actually. If you go look at my Tangi, you'll see a video of it. But it wasn't anything complicated enough to write a whole post about. But I made this cute little frame for my enamel pins. Here, let me switch over to this view and you can see it better. So it's got just some of my enamel pins that I like, and this is actually a scrap of fabric from when I wove my scarf that I made recently. So there was a little bit left on the warp and I didn't want to throw it away, so I just wove a little bit more, and this was the piece of fabric that came out of it. It's actually doubled up, and then I trimmed the edges and it really ugly glued them in place just to keep them from fraying, honestly. I didn't have enough fabric to fold it all the way over, like it was really tight to this frame. Otherwise, I would have left more of an edge and kind of folded it over more. But it works. Nobody's going to see it, and it holds some of my fun pins. So that's a project that, honestly, it's not even much of a tutorial. It's literally put fabric in a frame, trim it, and glue it. But that's a fun project to do with leftover scraps of fabric. Let me get back to here. So that's what I've got going on. The other thing that I've got coming up, Crochet Along Central, CAL Central on Facebook. We have just started our Halloween Crochet Along. So yeah, everything's coming up pumpkins these days. Everything's Halloween. So if you want to join in on that, it's Crochet Along Central on Facebook. And as always, I will be putting all the links to all of this stuff. Anything that I've mentioned, I will add the links to either the comments on the video in Facebook or the description of the video if you're watching on YouTube. So demo time. Let's see if we can get this to work. If it comes out too grainy or you guys have trouble seeing it because the internet's not the greatest at the moment, then I will redo it next week. But otherwise, I think we can get through it this week. We have been working on learning to knit for crocheters. So I taught you in previous weeks how to do, oh, it is a little grainy, isn't it? All right, let's see if it settles in. Okay. I taught you how to do the crocheted cast on and how to do the knit stitch. So that's where we are. We've done a couple rows of knit stitch here. Come on, camera focus. Okay, I think there we go. Now we got some focus. Okay, so you guys can see in the knit stitch, I had told you that the front of the stitch looks like this V shape here. Okay, the back of the stitch looks like these purl bumps, and these little bumps, we call them purl bumps. And the reason for that is a purl is exactly the opposite. A purl the front of the stitch looks like these bumps and the back of the stitch looks like these V shapes. Because a purl and a knit are actually the same stitch. There is really only one stitch. It's just done from the opposite side. So it's basically the same stitch that's just reversed. So you guys already know how to knit because you know the knit stitch. But the purl stitch, to make everything exactly reversed, we're going to do everything exactly backwards from the way we did the knit stitch. So in the knit stitch, our yarn was always held at the back. Okay, as we knit, the yarn was back here, and you know, here I'm knitting a couple of stitches, and you can see the yarn is at the back. It's behind my needles, right? When we purl, the yarn is always at the front. Okay, because it's basically a backwards knit stitch. So when we purl, the yarn is always at the front. Now when we knit, we insert our needle this way, right? When we purl, instead we come in from front to back and we insert the needle this way. So we're still forming a cross, but the needle's going the opposite way, from front to back. Now when we knit, we wrap the yarn under this needle and then up and around, right? And I'm doing English style first. Okay, when we purl, and this is clockwise if you're looking at it down the shaft of the needle like this. Okay, now when we purl, we insert it this way, and instead of going under and clockwise, we're going over and counterclockwise. So if I'm looking down the shaft of the needle here, I'm wrapping it counterclockwise. All right, so it's exactly the opposite. And then when we knit, we scooped the stitch up through this hole from front to back, right? Or from back to front, I guess, from this side towards us. We scooped it towards us. When we purl, we're going to scoop that away from us. Okay? So that's how you do a purl stitch. Everything is literally opposite of knitting. So let's do one English style. We're going to insert our needle towards us. We're going to wrap the yarn over the top, and we're going to push it out away from us, okay? And then throw that stitch off the needle. Now we're going to insert, wrap, push it out away from us, and throw it off the needle. You can say the same mnemonics as last time. Not the first one that I taught you, that in through the front door, once around the back. That only works for knit. But the other one, the nice and gory one that's perfect for Halloween, is the one that works for both knit and purl. You stab it, you strangle it, okay? You rip its guts out, and you throw it off the cliff. Those are the steps. Let's do one more this way. Stab it, strangle it, rip its guts out, and throw it off the cliff. Okay, so that is purling English style, or throwing. Now let's look at it Continental style, or picking, okay? The movements are the same, it's just that the yarn is in a different place. So we're going to stab it. Now see how the yarn is already over the top of the needle? Here's where it gets harder in Continental. Purling is harder in Continental because you have to get this yarn to come down around the needle just enough for you to be able to pull it through. I use my thumb for that. Different people do it different ways. But so I stab it in here, I use my thumb to pull it down and hold it in place, and then I pull it out through the stitch. So let's do that one more time. Stick it in, wrap it, pull it through, and throw it off. And remember, when I do it Continental, somehow my yarn always ends up behind my needle. Remember that you need your yarn in front of your needle before you start the stitch. Otherwise, what happens is your yarn will cross over the needle and create an extra loop. I'm going to show you that on purpose by mistake. So if I try to do this and then somehow manage to wrap the yarn, I can't even do that Continental style. Okay, so somehow manage to wrap the yarn like this and pull it through. Well, now I've put an extra wrap on the needle there and it's all confusing. If I do it English style, I'll actually get an extra stitch because see, if my yarn's at the back, okay, and I try to purl and I wrap it around here, look what's happening. Right here, it's crossing over the needle. So when I pull it through, I've got this extra stitch now. I've got that yarn over. That's what it's called, is a yarn over. That is an actual increase. That's how you make eyelets. So you definitely don't want the little yarn over there. You have to make sure that the yarn stays in front when you are purling. So let's do a couple more. There we go. And then just like with knitting, to turn the row, you just switch which hand you're holding the fabric with. Now you can see that this row we did had purl bumps here. And then on the opposite side, look, it's got the V's. Okay, so it's literally a knit stitch done from the opposite side. Next time, I'm going to actually show you one more row of these purl stitches, but the next time when we talk, I want to talk about combining knits and purls to make different fabrics. Like this little bit here is called garter stitch. This part is called stockinette stitch. You can make ribbing, you can make all sorts of different textures depending on where you put the knits and the purls. So I'm going to talk to you about that a little bit next time. It'll be more of a, not so much a demo of how to do the stitch, but more showing you some different textures. So I'll work up a swatch for you ahead of time. But okay, so here is purling English style. I'm just going to do 5 stitches of each. Sorry, I'm trying to stay at the right distance from the camera, and so my needle keeps hitting the table. That's that noise. Okay, there we go. And then here is purling Continental Style. And again, I really strongly encourage you guys to try both ways of knitting. Some people are much faster Continental, some people are much faster English, and some people are indifferent. I actually like being able to do both because when I do color work, if I have 2 colors going, like pretend this is another color, I can actually hold one in each hand and knit color A stitches in Continental and color B stitches in English, and that way I'm not changing my yarns all the time and changing my hands all the time. So that's a trick I use for color work actually. So it is good to learn both methods. And that is the demo that I had for you today. Let's see if I can get the camera to cut back. There we go. I hope that came through clear. Hopefully you guys can see it. I'm looking for some comments right now. Hang on. Comments. Okay, I don't see anything. If anybody has any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will catch you guys next week. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, hi, Beth. Yay, Beth can see me. That's good. All right, so thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all next week. Bye. Have a good weekend.